pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for 2018, Walker Cook. James Walker Cook, son of Wilkie and Tim Cook, Middlesex class of 1980, graduates today as a four-year student who has accomplished a great deal across many areas of school life, while engaging thoroughly in the process of finding his own promise. Walker's Middlesex career has been marked by achievement and significant involvement with and contribution to the broader school community. He has earned the designation as an honors student, an AP scholar in his classes, and participated in Model Congress and as a dormitory representative to the school senate. He has been a fantastic senior proctor in Clay Dormitory by forging meaningful relationships with upperclassmen while displaying great generosity to new students. His humble and endearing personality has made him a wonderful head tour guide and a great friend to many. He has also competed in Middlesex jersey in all 12 of his seasons and has earned 5 varsity letters in soccer and lacrosse. Throughout his time at Middlesex, Walker has consistently distinguished himself as a young man who thinks and cares about his peers in the school community. His leadership qualities have developed over the past 4 years and have been ever present this year in his classes, on his teams, and in his dorm. His selection as senior valedictorian represents the impact he has made amongst his peers and the younger students with whom he lives and works. This coming fall, as Walker matriculates at the University of Chicago, their community will be gaining a young man imbued with character and focused on living his values. Walker's growth as a person has happened in harmony with the mission of our school. He has worked in an atmosphere of mutual trust and shared responsibility to find his promise, and leaves us today prepared for the next step on his journey and as a knowledgeable, capable, responsible, and moral citizen of the world. As he heads off to Chicago next year, we wish him well. Ladies and gentlemen, the valedictorian, Walker Cook.
Moms, dads, grandparents, siblings, cousins, friends, fellow students, and most importantly, the class of 2018. Look at the people sitting in front of you, and if you're lucky enough to be sitting in the front rows, look to your left and right. For over 100 years, Middlesex has produced world leaders such as Henry Cabot Lodge and innovators such as Kevin Systrom, and even so, I couldn't imagine a more accomplished group with which to graduate. Ted Pine is an active member of Transit Matters and even appeared on the Business News Network to discuss public transit systems. Amaya has become a force to be reckoned with among the Flick staff as he has advocated for our food desires for at least the past 2 years. Sophie McKeegan and Caroline Silk started a Middlesex branch of Campuses Against Cancer that has received outstanding levels of support. Mike Best and Kai, among others, recorded an album and were confident enough to drop many of the songs on the same day as J. Cole. The seniors on the volleyball team took a program that didn't exist 5 years ago and have led them to back-to-back New England Championship appearances. This class has come so far from when we first arrived on campus, and it is my pleasure to share our journey with you. I could lie and pretend that I started to write this speech last night so that you can blame my errors and the fact that I procrastinated too much, but anybody who knows me knows all too well I started this speech weeks ago. So if I don't do a good job, it wasn't for a lack of effort or parental investment in my education. When I was chosen to be this year's valedictorian, I honestly believed it wouldn't be that challenging. Write a speech, say some thank yous, and act like you know more than your classmates. Although Nick Bonanno reminded me on multiple occasions that I wasn't funny, it wasn't until I read the past valedictorian speeches that I realized how much less funny I actually am and how difficult this was going to be. 4 years ago, about 80 of us arrived on campus with the ultimate goal of receiving a Middlesex diploma. We didn't know how we'd get here, or who we'd be when, or even if we did, but it was certainly something that crossed our minds at one point or another. And as of now, as long as we're going to achieve that goal, as long as nobody prematurely lights up their cigars. Today, most, if not all of us, feel like we've moved heaven and earth to be able to say we made it here, to our last day as Middlesex students. From the social intensity of living in a predominantly boarding community, to the sheer workload assigned to us by teachers, there's no denying it. Middlesex is a challenge. With every day packed full of classes, a 2-hour practice, and about 2 hours of homework, we are left with maybe an hour or two of free time before we inevitably need to get to bed in order to keep this pace up for 6 days. However, nobody said Middlesex was going to be easy, and I don't think it should be. Since why bother interpreting that myself when somebody smart already did it for me? Teddy Roosevelt says, "Far better is it to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in a gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat." These challenges presented to us by our teachers, coaches, and classmates have forced us to rise to the occasion and have ultimately drawn out our best selves that we have hopefully brought with us today. Middlesex has forced us to conquer the mighty tasks, all while providing the support to pick us up when we fail. Though being placed on academic probation or being forced into supervised study hall may be a huge burden, these systems exist to support rather than punish us. As freshmen, I'm sure very few of members of this class could have imagined that they would be able to write a full essay in 40 minutes, complete a 10-page U.S. history research paper, or even pass out of writing workshop. And outside of the hard work we put in to get here, I believe it is the continuous support from our teachers and the school that has made it possible. If you asked me 4 years ago what my least favorite subject was, I would have answered almost instantly English, because I didn't like that there wasn't one answer and that it involved complex thinking. Now, after 4 years of inspiration from the incredible teachers in the English department, I leave Middlesex with a greater appreciation for literature and ability to ponder questions with no concrete answer. I'm not saying I found my promise in English, because we certainly still have our differences, but I use this example to demonstrate that the members of this community, and in particular the teachers, inspire us to break out of our comfort zones and find new passions that we couldn't foresee ourselves indulging in. It feels like yesterday that we first arrived on campus. Thomas thought my name was Walter, like the main character from Breaking Bad, and proceeded to make jokes about me cooking crystal meth for the first 3 days of orientation. That actually happened. We went to an awkward ice cream social in Mrs. Giles' house. We dressed up in our flannels for square dance, and we waited anxiously in anticipation of who our random dance dates would be. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you, Nina Thomas. We crammed ourselves onto the couches in Stufac, the chairs at the 3 tables reserved for freshmen in the dining hall, and we dueled out who got to sit on the one bench freshmen are allowed to use in the circle. But most notable of all my memories from freshman year, we are all individuals. When I think about the most important lessons I've learned throughout my time here, I think mostly of the new ideas my classmates have exposed me to. Maddie exposed me to what it means to be fearless. I should put a blindfold on and walk backwards on a log suspended 20 feet in the air during sophomore year orientation. My soccer teammates exposed me to the idea that it's not great individuals who win games, it's great teams, as we made it to the New England semifinals without any Division I soccer commits. Ned Herter exposed me to the idea of what it means to dedicate your life to something you love, as he brought an infectious happiness and energy everywhere he went after 38 years of working at Middlesex. Alice exposed me to the idea of enjoying the little things, as she was able to fully entertain herself with a slinky and a set of stairs in the Terry room. Tim Wren exposed me to the idea of being passionate, as I have never met anyone who cares about something as much as Tim cares about music. Luke Collins exposed me to the idea of disregarding others' opinions in favor of being true to yourself, as he can frequently be found dancing like nobody is watching at assemblies, in class, or on the circle. Anthony and Trey exposed me to the idea of taking initiative, as they have worked tirelessly to reduce our community's impact on the environment. I'm not sure that being able to find the derivative of a function or being able to write a 5-paragraph essay will apply to anything in life beyond the classroom, but I am sure that the lessons we have learned from our classmates will. To all the parents, it may seem like we only ever call you for money or to get weekend permissions. Or maybe I'm a terrible person and it's just me. I really hope not. I know there's some of you out there that do the same. But we are incredibly grateful for everything you do. To all the teachers, thank you for putting up with us. I know it must have been annoying when we stopped paying attention in class in order to admire the beauty of the ceiling. But on behalf of my classmates, we thank you for hanging on and sharing your wisdom up until the end. To all Middlesex students, past and present, thank you for making this place the incredible institution that it is. There's no doubt in my mind that without your curiosity and dedication, this school wouldn't be half the place that it is today. And finally, to the class of 2018, thank you for making the past 4 years the best and most fulfilling I believe we will have in a while. We have made friendships and memories here that I hope for all of us will last a lifetime. 2 months ago, I was having a conversation about graduation at dinner. As I looked to my left, I saw Sophie Stewart on the verge of tears, just from hearing the word graduation. I knew then that no matter how happy we would all be to graduate, it would still be a day marked with nostalgia, as Middlesex has been such an integral part of our lives thus far. The word nostalgia comes from a combination of the Greek words nostos, which means to return home, and algos, which means pain. Together, these words can be interpreted to mean the pain associated with a longing for home, or in other words, homesickness. Middlesex has been our home for the last 2, 3, or 4 years, and although it may not have always felt comfortable, those long nights spent writing essays or early mornings dedicated to studying seem somewhat unintimidating in comparison to what next year has in store for us. For many of us, the tears that will be shed less than an hour from now are tears for the void we know that we are going to feel when we can no longer call Middlesex home. As we prepare to leave this circle for the last time, it is okay to be sad, but remember that this is not the end. Carry your experiences and your friendships with you, and I am confident that you'll be successful in whatever it is you desire. A great friend of mine told me that the best things in life are the product of taking a leap of faith. As we all move forward in our lives and inevitably encounter a time where we are forced to make a challenging decision, don't be afraid to count on yourself to succeed. The adversity we have faced throughout our high school careers has more than prepared us for what awaits beyond the bubble. Keeping with the Teddy Roosevelt theme, I'd like to share one more quote with you. He says, "In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing, and the worst thing you can do is nothing." Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2018. I can't begin to explain how grateful I am to have spent the past 4 years with you all.
Thank you, Walker. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce you to this year's graduation speaker.